This is The Scoop for Wednesday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. 5 demonstrators, known as the Tampa Five, will avoid jail time after a long legal process stemming from a clash with police at the University of South Florida in March. WMNF's Chris Young reports on yesterday's ruling from outside the Hillsborough County Courthouse.
The group faced a mix of felony and misdemeanor charges after a violent interaction with police at USF while protesting Governor Ron DeSantis' anti-diversity education laws. The charges included battery on a law enforcement officer and disrupting a school campus function. The group argued that they were brutalized by police and unfairly targeted. They anticipated 5 to 10 years in prison. Now, their felonies have been downgraded to misdemeanors. Chris Lee Carpio is one of the 5 charged.
I feel incredibly relieved and vindicated. We know that with the power of the people, you can do anything.
Lauren Pinero also appreciated the nationwide support her group received.
It is only through the people having protests across the country, sending resolutions that multiple organizations endorsed to the state attorney directly to our office. I think through that pressure, that is how we won.
Pinero's message to other student protesters:
keep fighting. We have a right to protest. It is our First Amendment right. People like DeSantis and others like him across the country, they want to rip away the rights that were won through protests years ago in the 60s and 70s. And that's why we have to continue the fight and continue pushing.
Upon completion of a 1-year legal program that includes community service, the misdemeanor charges will be dropped. For WMNF News, I'm Chris Young in Tampa.
Governor Ron DeSantis announced his proposed budget yesterday. He suggested $15.1 billion for Florida public schools. But WMFE's Danielle Pryor reports the state's teachers union says it's not nearly enough.
Highlights of the budget include a $200 million year-over-year increase in funding to provide better pay for teachers and other instructional personnel. The Florida Education Association reported a shortage of 7,000 teachers at the start of the school year. But FEA President Andrew Sparse says with inflation factored in, these increases don't go far enough. Florida still ranks 45th in public school spending and 48th in teacher pay.
And what we called on the governor and the legislature to do is increase funding by $2.5 billion a year for the next 7 years.
DeSantis says the budget, quote, will ensure Florida's schools and teachers have the tools they need to prepare Florida students for their future endeavors. In Orlando, I'm Danielle Pryor.
Last year, Governor Ron DeSantis recommended that $570 million collected from a Hillsborough County transportation sales tax be refunded to residents. But now the Tampa Bay Times reports that DeSantis has flip-flopped and says he wants the money to be used on transportation projects in Hillsborough rather than on a tax refund. The money was collected after a transportation sales tax was approved by county voters in 2018, but later overturned by the Florida Supreme Court. That directive is included in the governor's proposed budget. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor told the Times it was good news. She said, "We certainly have had more than enough transportation needs for that funding." DeSantis' administration is trying to use a state appeals court ruling to help bolster its defense of congressional redistricting plan in federal court. Attorneys for Florida's Secretary of State quickly filed a notice Monday in U.S. District Court after the state's first District Court of Appeal upheld the constitutionality of the redistricting plan last week. Voting rights groups are challenging the redistricting plan in separate lawsuits in state and federal courts. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission held off yesterday on approving a small number of special use permits for alligator hunters. Commission staff members proposed holding a random drawing for 5 special permits that would provide greater flexibility next season. Denny Lane has died in Naples, Florida at the age of 79. Denny Lane was a British singer, songwriter, and guitarist who performed in an early pop-oriented version of the Moody Blues and was later Paul McCartney's longtime sideman in Wings. Lane sang on the Moody Blues breakthrough hit Go Now, and with Wings performed on such hits as Band on the Run and My Love. Lane continued to record and tour in recent years. Denny Lane was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Moody Blues in 2018. Today it'll be sunny and mild. Highs will be in the mid-60s. Tonight, partly cloudy and cool. Overnight lows will be in the high 40s. And tomorrow, partly cloudy. Highs will be in the low 70s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.